Hello and welcome to Soul Lift. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects millions worldwide, coping with anxiety. I'm here to share a personal story, some techniques that helped me, and insights into understanding and managing anxiety. Hi, my name is Corinne. In my late 30s, I started experiencing intense anxiety that seemed to come out of nowhere. The symptoms were overwhelming. I'd have shortness of breath, feelings of panic and impending doom, palpitations, and sometimes I'd wake up feeling as if I'd stopped breathing. These episodes led me to the ER twice, thinking I was having a heart attack. The first time, I felt my heartbeat become irregular, which immediately set off a wave of worrying thoughts. This resulted in a tingling and numbness down both arms that spread up into my neck and made me reach for the phone to call 000. After hours of questions and tests, I was told I'd had a panic attack, and the symptoms I'd experienced were the result of hyperventilating. The second time occurred in the doctor's office, and the symptoms were even more intense. My hands froze up into claw-like shapes, and my jaw became stiff. I was like this in the hospital room for hours. These experiences were terrifying. I started to lose all confidence. I no longer wanted to be alone, ever. A simple trip to the shops became an ordeal. Crowds would make me nervous. Driving to a new destination became impossible. This marked the beginning of my journey to understand and manage my anxiety. I want to share what I learned in the hopes that it helps someone else. Understanding what anxiety is and where it comes from helped me to manage it. I spent hours researching and reading articles and medical studies in the aim to better understand why I was suddenly having these episodes. Here is what I learned. Anxiety is often a combination of our thoughts, our body's responses, and sometimes even genetics. The research I have done shows there can be a genetic component to anxiety, and certain neurotransmitter imbalances may play a role as well. Some studies have indicated that if a parent or close relative has experienced an anxiety disorder, there's an increased likelihood that other family members may experience it as well. This doesn't mean that anxiety is guaranteed to be passed down, but a genetic predisposition can make us more susceptible to developing anxiety, especially if combined with environmental stresses. There are specific genes linked to anxiety that are thought to affect how the brain responds to stress and processes emotions. People with a genetic link may have a more sensitive fight or flight response, making them more likely to experience some level of anxiety in response to stress. Understanding your family history can help you recognize if you're more susceptible to anxiety, allowing you to stay mindful during times of stress or in situations that might trigger your fight or flight response. But what if your brain is to blame? We all have neurotransmitters, which are the chemicals in our brain that help regulate our mood, thoughts, and responses. In an anxious brain, certain neurotransmitters, such as serotonin, dopamine, and gamma-aminobutyric acid, may be imbalanced. Serotonin is what makes us feel good and plays a significant role regulating our moods. Low levels of serotonin are commonly associated with both anxiety and depression, which is why many medications target serotonin pathways to help improve mood and reduce anxiety. GABA, on the other hand, is the brain's primary calming neurotransmitter. It helps to slow down our neural activity, resulting in us being more relaxed. If our GABA levels are low, it can be harder to calm down once anxiety is triggered. These imbalances can have an effect on the intensity and frequency of anxiety symptoms. Recognizing the biochemical aspects of anxiety can be helpful in understanding why anxiety can feel overwhelming or uncontrollable at times, as it involves more than just thought patterns. There are physical, chemical processes at work as well. Sometimes anxiety seems to come out of nowhere, but it can also be triggered by past experiences, unresolved trauma, or ongoing stresses. Recognizing your own triggers can make a huge difference in taking control. Your brain created it in an instant. It can remove it in an instant. This was the best advice I ever received, and it helped me believe in my ability to heal. Now that we have some understanding of where anxiety can originate from, let's talk about the techniques that helped me reclaim my peace of mind and get my life back. Therapy was a pivotal part of my journey, especially once I realized I didn't have to face this on my own. My therapist didn't just help me process what I was feeling, she gave me practical tools to manage my anxiety in real time. One of the first techniques I learned was diaphragmatic breathing, which helped me slow down when I felt that wave of panic starting to build. The process begins by breathing in slowly and deeply through your nose, allowing your abdomen, not your chest, to rise as you fill your lungs from the bottom up. Start by inhaling to a count of 4, hold the breath for another count of 4, then exhale gently through your mouth for a count of 4. Repeat this 2 to 3 times, gradually increasing the count to 5, then 6. Practicing diaphragmatic breathing helps lower your heart rate, reduce blood pressure, and calm the nervous system by activating your body's relaxation response. This breathing technique has saved my sanity on more than one occasion. Another strategy was redirecting my focus, which included things like mindful coloring. It sounds simple, but engaging in an activity that required concentration gave me a break from my thoughts. Over time, I even gave my anxiety a name and a colour, Beryl, who I imagined as a blue and purple presence. Giving it a name was empowering. Instead of anxiety feeling like something intangible and out of control, it was something I could address directly, making it feel less overpowering. And yes, I did talk to her, telling her several times to fuck off. In therapy, I also began identifying underlying triggers, often subtle things like certain environments or situations that would set off my anxiety. By breaking it down with my therapist, I could start to manage it in a structured way. Therapy was more than just talking. It was a toolkit I could carry with me, with breathing exercises, visualization, and reframing my mindset. Through my research, I came to learn about cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which has been shown to be highly effective for anxiety. CBT is a structured, evidence-based form of psychotherapy that focuses on identifying, understanding, and changing negative thought and behavior patterns. CBT operates on the principle that our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are interconnected. This means that the way we think can affect how we feel and act. For example, with anxiety, you may have ongoing negative thoughts about situations, which can heighten your stress and anxiety levels, leading to behaviours like avoidance and hypervigilance. In CBT, a therapist will work with you to recognise specific patterns of thinking that lead to distress. A primary goal is to identify cognitive distortions, unrealistic or unhelpful thoughts that contribute to feelings of anxiety. Some common distortions include catastrophizing, assuming the worst possible outcome, which is what I was doing regularly, black and white thinking, viewing things in extremes, and overgeneralization, believing one negative experience means future ones will be the same. I was also guilty of this. Through exercises, you can learn to challenge these thoughts and replace them with more balanced, realistic ones. For example, instead of thinking, "I'll fail if I try something new," CBT helps reframe it to, "I may not succeed immediately, but I can learn and improve over time." There are 3 techniques used in CBT for anxiety. These are cognitive restructuring, exposure therapy, and relaxation and mindfulness techniques. Cognitive restructuring involves identifying negative thought patterns, figuring out how accurate they are, and replacing them with more constructive thoughts. Like if someone with social anxiety thinks, "Everyone will judge me negatively," they learn to challenge this thought by recognizing that it may be an assumption rather than a fact. Exposure therapy is a tool for people with phobias or panic disorders. By being exposed to the source of anxiety, the aim is to help reduce its power. By confronting fears in small, manageable steps, you learn that the anxiety decreases over time, building confidence and resilience. Relaxation and mindfulness techniques incorporates relaxation strategies like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or mindfulness exercises. These techniques help manage physical symptoms of anxiety and encourage present moment awareness, reducing the tendency to spiral into future worries. Anxiety often follows a cycle where a triggering thought leads to a physical response, like sweating or racing heart, which reinforces the anxious thought, creating a feedback loop. CBT disrupts this cycle by helping you change how you think and respond, weakening the hold anxiety has over you. Unlike some treatments that focus only on symptom relief, CBT can equip you with lasting skills to prevent relapse. By practicing new thought patterns and coping strategies regularly, you develop resilience, making it easier to manage anxiety when it resurfaces. CBT is considered a gold standard treatment for anxiety because it not only reduces symptoms, but also helps address the underlying causes of anxiety. I absolutely love a good meditation session, so let's chat about that. Guided meditation became a refuge for me, especially during those times when my anxiety felt overwhelming. At first, meditation was challenging because I was so in my head, but using guided sessions gave me a structure to follow. I found some great apps and YouTube channels with guided meditations specifically focused on grounding and breathing for anxiety. We even have one by Sasha on our Soul Lift channel and we'll be adding more weekly. Please like and subscribe and turn on that notification button so you know when they have landed. Meditation helped me reconnect with my body and mind, reminding me that I wasn't just my anxious thoughts. By following a calm voice guiding me through each step, breathing in deeply, feeling the weight of my body, noticing any tension and releasing it, I could let go of some of the physical tension that accompanied my anxiety. Meditation also taught me to be more present. Rather than spiraling into future worries or past regrets, I learned to focus on the now. Over time, I noticed a shift. I'd feel a sense of calm and even gratitude for small moments. Meditation helped me build a mental muscle to quiet my mind, making me feel more resilient and grounded. Now on to the best decision I ever made, to take medication and go alcohol-free. Medication was a step I was initially hesitant to take. In fact, it was my last resort, but it ultimately made a big difference. I started on a low dose, and it gradually eased the intensity of my symptoms, making it easier for me to work on my other coping strategies. For me, medication wasn't an instant fix, but it took the edge off my anxiety, allowing me the mental space to practice other techniques. I want to emphasize that there is absolutely no shame in needing medication to manage anxiety. I used to believe otherwise, thinking I should be able to handle it all on my own, that taking a pill had a negative stigma attached to it. In all honesty, I wish I'd started sooner. After 5 long years of struggling, I finally took the step to try medication, and it made a world of difference. Another crucial decision was cutting out alcohol. I'd noticed that drinking, even in small amounts, seemed to make my anxiety worse the next day. Alcohol is a depressant, and while it might initially seem to take the edge off, it disrupts sleep patterns and can lead to increased anxiety afterward. Going alcohol-free was empowering. It helped me feel more in control, and my mood stabilized over time, as did my sleep patterns. I used to think you couldn't have a good time on a night out without alcohol, but I couldn't have been more wrong. Now, being alcohol-free, I genuinely feel like I'm having the best time of my life. This combination of medication and lifestyle change was a game changer for me. I finally felt like I had both the tools and the support to handle my anxiety in a way that felt sustainable. Consider talking with a medical professional if you're unsure where to start. You can also find support groups, online resources, and communities that can help you feel less alone, like here at Soul Lift. Please like and subscribe to our channel for continued support and information. We're in this together. Preventing anxiety starts with awareness. Pay attention to what situations, thoughts, or feelings tend to trigger your anxiety. For me, it was certain environments and lifestyle habits. By recognizing these triggers, I could better prepare myself and use the tools I learned to prevent full-blown episodes. Regular self-care, a stable routine, and making intentional choices like limiting caffeine or avoiding alcohol can also help you feel more in control. Being organized was key for me. It still is. Our mindset directly influences our behavior, often in ways we may not immediately notice. I've realized that when my mental health starts to dip, it shows up in my surroundings and actions. If my home becomes messy or I start missing important dates, these are clear signals that I need to take proactive steps to prioritize my well-being. I know firsthand how scary and isolating anxiety can feel. But I want you to know that there's hope. With time, patience, and the right tools, it's possible to regain control and reclaim your life. Don't hesitate to reach out, seek help, and find what works best for you. Remember, if our minds can create anxiety, they also have the power to create peace. Stay strong and keep believing in your resilience. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to stay connected for more content on mental wellness and self-care strategies. Let's continue supporting each other on this journey. Thanks for watching and take care of yourself.